decided to go organic. I never really did want to mess with stuff I'm getting ready to stick my hand into, and decided to really commit to it in 2001. And took a couple of years to make the transition, and all, but I'm glad we did. And we're by no means experts in what we're doing. We're still trying to figure out the best ways to do things, but I think we're getting a little better at it every year. The idea of having to feed all these people is kind of a little bit scary because so far it seems to be working, but I'm always afraid we're going to come short.
Film, they went from 75 to 400 members, and we had about 75 this year. We're around 70 or so. And that would be interesting, right, if we have this quantum leap. Right now, we're just going to stick with probably 100 for the next season. And as a matter of fact, while he's talking, I'm going to pass this around. If you want information for the next season, you want to put your name or email on here, it's up to you, pass it on if you don't want to. Yes, did you have a question?
Do you have crop insurance?
No.
So if you lose your crop in a freeze, flood, drought,
Well,
then you just reinvest?
yeah, but it's kind of unlikely.
No, with the CSA, that's the whole thing. It's community-supported agriculture. You share in the bounty, you share in the risk. It's your farm as terms of, helping out. It's not the responsibility of the farmer, and that's what keeps it going, and that's what, you're...
But honestly, I couldn't think of a situation where you get completely wiped out. I mean, I don't know, we haven't had locusts in a long time.
No, well...
I mean, hurricanes are pretty bad, but fortunately, we don't usually have anything planted at that time.
No, usually it's a frost. It's a
Well,
frost that wiped us out or a flood.
Okay. Well, even with what we're doing though, it's most of the stuff that we have out there now can handle a light frost, and what is frost sensitive, we have kind of grouped in an area that we can cover with some row cover. So, and also we just, the growth still has the old bed and furrow system that we can flood it and get some water out there. It's going to get real bad. So, yeah, could you lose a crop or part of something a little bit? Sure, but I just never feel like
I
we get
guess in our view, because we farm so much of one particular produce.
Right,
So, like
right,
squash.
right. Sure,
You know,
sure.
some squash can really handle.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, that's why, we try to just, we just have,
You have so much variety.
we have a lot, right,
Yeah,
exactly.
not just your squash, but you still have.
It's like I kid about, we went heavy on planting turnips early because they're easy to grow, and we can just do a whole 600-foot row of them and get done with it, put them in the cooler. So I guess if all else fails, we really learned a lot.
Only a turnip.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think the worst that could happen is people would have to accept something that
Right,
they get sick of seeing the same thing over and over again, and that kind of thing. But I don't think, I think there'd be some complaints about lack of variety, but I think we'd still be able to come up with something.
How many acres does it take for 70 people?
That's a good question. We're still trying to figure that out. So far, we seem to be keeping up with it with, there's probably not really more than 2 acres that's actually planted. It's not as much as you might think, and I think we're doing okay so far. It takes more than that because we have to keep thinking ahead and planning ahead and everything, so we need space to be able to move around. But, like I say, our farm's the old bed and furrows like you typically have in a grove, so you get 25 feet to work and water for it. It's just good for drinking water away. So, it's like that. So we're actually occupying the better part of 5 acres. But, yeah, I bet it's not more than 2.5 that's actually planted right now.
And how many acres do you have total?
Well, I mean, we own 30, there's buildings, there's houses, it's, there's probably, there's probably 20 something that I could do garden in if I wanted to. I've got a whole fence, so it's all pasture, and we're moving animals around, so that we use it for gardens and then animals on the tree.
What is the cost of the?
Well, this year it was $15 a week for a 30-week season, which was $450 for the year, and there was a 10% discount if you paid in full. Otherwise, we had like a $75 deposit, and then 3 installments of $125 every 2 months, which the last one is due this month. for the current season. So it's kind of spread it out, it wasn't such a big deal, and then you're kind of home free for the last 6 months, where we have a big walk-in cooler now, it's about 10 by 20.
8 by 20, yeah.
8 by
Yeah,
20,
that's big.
with shelves and bins, you know, where we put all the vegetables in, categorize them. There's about 30 varieties.
Yes.
And,
There's quite a bit, I kind of haven't counted it, but yeah, we're getting pretty, I mean, we're.
Yeah, I
we're
mean,
right
and
into it
like I
right
said,
now,
if
you know.
anybody wants a tour, you know, it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or Sunday, and if you wanna know if it's a morning week that I'll be out there or an afternoon, you have to go to the website, whiterabbitcsa.org, and look under the schedule. And, we'll be doing tours again coming up. I mean, we're kinda even doing things with schools now. A lot of schools wanna come out and teach their children how to learn how to farm again, and they're having gardens started. We just, started one at Treasure Coast Elementary, and they'll probably, you know, like they did in there as a learning center, that's kind of something we wanna get going too, and, definitely, so. Because there aren't many organic farms in our area, there's, 3.
Yeah, it's funny, it's all sort of grouped up in that, and, you know, that way, there's Kevin and us, and there's not organic, but there's lots of other guys on Mark there on 41st
Oh,
Street.
yeah.
And then, of course, from the old Fred Peterson.
Yeah, this is
It's
a
also
very
right in the
unique
same little area,
opportunity that this farm exists, and that they're willing to help out, and that they have all the machinery to do it. Because if you were just trying to start this up by yourself, you know, you'd have to try to buy the tractors and manure spreaders, and, I mean,
And it works out kind of nice because you know, it's already set up for drainage at first, because it's an old road, you already got the wells in place and all that type of thing, so it's good to start with that much. And we're a whole lot happier doing produce than we're citrus.
plus there's a lot of animals. There's goats, they milk the goats, they get raw goat milk. There's 250 chickens, there's cows, there's horse,
I think for next year,
and sheep.
we're probably not gonna try to do a
Pigs.
complete work membership, all right? And do what you mentioned as far as the.
Yeah, we're still seeing how is this going for us, because in that film, they did not have every member working. You know, they had Mexicans, they had interns, they had, you know, specific people working. The way we did it this year is I wanted the members to work, to learn how to garden themselves and actually, you know, be involved in the farming. But, you know, we're seeing, you know, well, is that really working or not? Are people really learning? Are they coming out often enough where they're understanding what's going on? And maybe what we'll do next year, you know, we'll talk about it as the year progresses, because people are picking it up and learning more. But there's definitely some members who, you know, maybe they'd be better off just having a non-working share where they're part of it, but they don't have to come out and work, and we can maybe be more efficient somehow. I don't know, we're gonna talk about it, but it's like a process, an evolving process, and this is the first year, and I definitely expect it to become more popular as food shortages might start to happen. You might start to see some problems with the food supply, and it's important to have something like this to fall back on and get going, so you can kind of insurance against what's going to happen possibly with food costs, transportation, and genetically modified problems, and all kinds of things that are happening.
But I don't own a bumblebee costume.
He was gonna come in, he was gonna come in with his feather ball, but
I pretty much just stick to trying to grow some vegetables.
yeah. So, any
We're
other
getting the
questions?
limit right there.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Of course, I have a question. Where he ran into the problem of lack of nutrients in the soil that they had farmed continuously over the years, and they were looking about elsewhere. I know in Belle Glade what they do is they change the crop to nutrient the soil, like with rice and such. Is that something that the organic, how do you do that to preserve that soil that you don't have to water?
Yeah, absolutely. We're, you know, putting some, cowpeas and things like that, you know, as a legume to fix a little bit of nitrogen and tillage back in over time. Right now, because I have a lot of extra space to work with, and, you know, I don't know what's gonna work up to 400 people, that's a little scary, but since I only have to have about 3 acres or so, I'm really using it
So you
at
can
a
just
time.
rotate everything?
Yeah, I mean, I've still got a lot of space left. It's never seen a garden on it. I mean, I've never put a disc on the ground yet, so
Yeah.
it'll take a while to work our way all the way around the place. And yeah, crop rotation is definitely a big part of it.
Yeah, because we never did that. We just did a different crop in the summer. That was the
Okay.
nitrogen.
Well, we've had the luxury of having a lot of extra land so far,
Right.
you know.
Just to use
How much
that.
land do you have?
Well, we own 30 acres, but it's not really all available as cropland. But what we do, as far as the nutrients and everything, I made up a thing that's a pig pen, keep a couple of pigs in there, and behind it I got the chickens in an old hay wagon frame, and drag that, I had its own length every morning, so get the pigs tear it up and the chickens drop on it overnight, and just keep moving that, move 16 feet every day. And that, I get all the horse manure and bedding and everything from all the stables around town, and I should say all the stables, but a lot of them anyway. And we put that out there. But, I don't really know what I'm doing, but it
The soil's
seems to
really
work.
rich. Yeah, I don't really think it can be easily duplicated at home, that's the other thing.
Well, it's a lot of material that
You
we
know,
put
a
out
lot
there.
of manure, a lot of hogs,
Yeah.
chickens.
Yeah, chickens make a big part of it. So for Florida ground, it's got pretty good till for me. You think of Florida soil, it's good and sandy and all that. Hearing a little bit though is a couple different things that people are telling me it could be better. One, there's not always in the cooler what they want to have in the cooler when they come out here to get it. And I want people to be able to get their produce and feel like they're getting their money's worth. The other thing is, like Susan was saying, some people feel like they're not really learning a whole lot. Every time you come out, it's kind of a what do I do now sort of a thing. It's everybody's garden, okay? It's everybody's garden. It's also nobody's garden. That's the problem with something like that. You know, if we all chipped in together and we bought a bus and we're taking a trip on it, we know that we all own part of the bus. But exactly which part do I own? Which part do I care about to make sure that it gets maintained and cleaned and polished or something like that, okay? So I think as a way of looking at things, this will all work a lot better. I want people to feel like they really have a part of this garden that's theirs. And I've said that right from the beginning. I think that's the way it's going to work best. I believe there's an ancient Chinese proverb that says we all must grow our own garden. It's that simple. But we're here as a community and we're trying to do this together. So how to make this work? Well, do we take and say, okay, this first 20 feet is yours and this next 20 feet is yours? No, I don't think that's going to work real well. Do we cut it all up into little plots and everybody tries to plant 30 different things in these little square foot gardens? Well, that's inefficient as can be. That would be chaos. So my thought is I think we need to have different people sort of in charge of different vegetables or groups of vegetables.
Or groups of people in charge of
Or
vegetables.
groups of people in charge of different groups of vegetables. But somehow we got to have it to where there's people out there that know what's going on with their particular vegetable, and they're keeping track of, did I plant enough of it? Do I need to start thinking about planting more of it? Is my stuff getting enough water? Is it getting harvested regularly, or is it starting to go to seed out there in the field? Is there, did we plant enough for the cooler? Should I have planted more? Is the bugs chewing on it? Somebody or some group of people or somehow we got to narrow this down a little bit, and maybe it's sort of a way to break the garden down into smaller pieces that people can get their mind around a little bit. I don't mean to be derogatory saying it that way, but it's just biting off a smaller chunk so you can really see it. And they feel like it's kind of their baby, and that they're going to do a good job of this. And then ultimately, if it's not in the cooler, well, if Bob's in charge of, radishes or whatever it is, and there's no radishes, and there's been no radishes for a week, it's, hey, Bob, what happened here? Do you need some help? Did you not plant enough? Did they all not come up? Or, what is going on? Because, the way things are right now, what I'm hearing from people is they're not fully content with what's going on with the CSA, and I'm hearing, well, I came out to get something out of the cooler and there wasn't enough there. Why don't we have more variety? What I've been saying is, hey, it's a little bit like complaining that you don't like what's in your lunchbox when you pack your own lunch. I mean, this is everybody's garden, so if it's not in the cooler, well, it's only because it wasn't provided. It's not that anybody's trying to keep anybody's vegetables away from anyone or anything like that. I really think we'll have better production that way. I think people have a vested interest in growing whatever it is that they want to grow. And the other thing is to me personally, you know, I don't want to have to keep track, and I don't think Susan and Mark do either, of exactly how much time someone's putting in. Are they, is this guy working as hard as that guy, whatever? Can they, if they can't show up during one shift, can they cover during another shift and make up their time and everything else? Hey, that's between you and your vegetable, okay? That's it. I mean, if you got to go to soccer practice instead of coming out here and taking care of whatever the thing is, whatever. But you know, if something doesn't work with the vegetable, well, like I say, that's not anybody's fault but the guy who's growing it. And sometimes life gets in the way of farming, and I know all about that. You know, we used to have a social life before we did all this, but you know, we've had to make some choices. And you know, there's times when things have to be done when they have to be done. Excuse me. And so anyway, I'm not sure. I know what I'm trying to do. I think it's a good idea. I don't know if anybody else does, but I'm not sure exactly how to set that up. You know, and work out the finer points of it. But anyway, I mean, as a concept, does that sound like? Yeah.
How many different kinds of fruits and vegetables are there?
Well, I got them written down in my notebook here. I want to say there's like 30 or so different, you know, individual little
Something
things.
to be grouped together, you know, just don't need very much of, you know, like you could have your specialty greens, you know, it could be, you know, which could be 5 or 6 different vegetables, you know, because there's just not very much that needs to be planted.
And not everything grows at the same time of the year either, right?
That's right,
Exactly.
that's right.
And you may change your varieties, you know, like maybe you grow one thing in the wintertime, but maybe in the spring you switch to squash or something like that, you know, and that's exactly right.
That's a quick list, you know, just different things. And I sort of tried to write these down in groups. I'm not sure how many people will be really into this or have the time to be able to do it and take it that seriously. So I mean, if everybody wants to take one little thing, we can, you know, have a lot of people doing different things. Or if there's only a few people, we'll clump some of these together. But those people, of course, will have quite a bit more to do. Now, I know not everyone can do this. I know people, some people have real hectic schedules and everything, and they just can't do this. It's not a question of whether or not they want to or like to. They just can't. And I think that's fine. And the way we've already set it up to where people are coming out and paying the money that they pay, and they're working their 4 hours per month, and there's good people that are willing to show up when they're supposed to show up, and they get out of their car and they say, I'm here, I'm dressed, I'm ready to work, what would you like me to do? And I think there's still plenty of room for that type of thing. But somebody needs to be really looking over things a little bit better, and whether we do it where, you know, if the guy's in charge of lettuce and he could use some help with lettuce, do we do that where he picks his team, or do we do that where he just comes out here on, you know, certain shifts and people show up to help him sort of at random, or like I say, exactly how to work out that, I'm not sure how that should be done.
Yeah, so let me just say that basically, this is all because the way we're doing it, we don't feel is working. We feel like the cooler isn't being stocked, you know, as you all probably are noticing, and we want to make a change. We need to make a change, or people are dropping out. They're not interested. They're losing interest. They feel there's not a lot of, you know, whatever.
Well, people feel that if I don't show up, it's no big deal. The work will somehow get done. And well, yeah, sort of it will, but I mean, collectively it works, and the more and more people that.
But we're short on a lot of different products. Part of it, you know, sometimes weather has effect on that, and it certainly has, you know, just recently, and it's shorted us something. We should be harvesting a lot of strawberries. Tomatoes is probably going to be delayed because of the cold that we had. You know, different things. I mean, we lost our tomatillas out here, you know, and different tomato plants out on this side of the street. We just completely lost them. You know, so
And the
you
purple
certainly have
beans.
those intentions in there.
But that's part of farming.
Oh, I know.
You know, you can't do anything about the weather.
No.
So Donna, what do you think about this concept?
Oh, I've got some opinions, but I'm not ready to express them yet. I
Who
wanna
would
think
like to
about it a
express an opinion, positive or negative?
Can I just ask a question? How much time difference, Brian, if you're saying that you've got people that are still willing to do their 4 hours and that they pull up and they say, okay, I'm here, point me in the right direction. If what you're saying is this is going to be, you're asking people to take a crop
Take
and,
possession
okay, so I'm
Responsibility.
going to take
And
responsibility
ownership,
of red and green
Responsibility.
peppers. Okay, so let's say that that's what I want to do. How much different is the time going to be? So,
I don't know. That's,
depend on your
that,
peppers.
that depends how good a job you want to do with your peppers, and I don't know.
It's
You
going to
understand what I'm
depend on
saying?
your particular vegetable. Though.
Okay.
There's some
Yeah.
things, you know, some things don't require a lot of time.
Right.
Some things require a lot more time.
right,
You know.
okay.
I would say the person that does lettuce mix, you know, that person's it takes more time because of the harvesting and the preparation and,
Okay.
and,
And-
you know, keeping up with seeding
Okay,
and everything.
and then since I don't know anything about peppers, but I happen to love peppers, so where am I going to get the knowledge on? Okay, here are my seeds. What the hell do I do with them? What is involved in bringing them so that not only am I not letting myself down or the people that are on my group
Right.
taking care of the peppers,
That's
but
where, you know,
how
I
do
need to
then
help
know?
guide people. You know,
Okay.
and honestly, you
And
know,
this is
peppers
why
are-
we're doing it too, because see, we're halfway through and you don't know any of
Well,
those
what's our
things.
research?
Right, and
Where are we gonna
I'm
go
not
with this
good with peppers
information?
either. So you
We'll
know,
be
some of those
available to
things-
answer questions.
Yeah, we're
We'll still be on the shifts.
yeah, we're still
Okay,
here. We're
and then devil's advocate, so I end up being a flop at peppers, and so I got all these people, 60 people looking at me saying, Bill's like, whoa, yeah, beat me with me,
happens.
throw me with my rotten peppers.
It
So then
pro-
what happens?
It probably will happen.
Okay.
But I'd rather have them looking at you than looking
Then-
at me.
okay. You're trying to hand off that on the tape.
It's that simple.
Okay.
Right,
I got no
because right
dog in
now
this
people
fight.
are complaining about us.
Okay.
You know,
There's
it's,
also one thing you need to consider, and that's be resourceful. There are a lot of resources in the area other than these three great people
Yeah,
right
that's
here.
right.
And-
And
and
we're
we-
not the know-it-alls. You know, we aren't. You
hey,
know,
I was a
we're-
carpenter until a little while ago, and she
You can
cleaned
go down
teeth.
to-
I mean, you
You
know.
can go down to the extension office.
Most people are.
They will give you
Not everybody
guidelines.
knows.
Yeah, and I just went down in the extension office and I was going to get the individual vegetable sheets, but they have it just on one. So I can make a copy of that one. It has all the vegetables on one. It's about 15 pages. But there's also books. We can tell you what books. We want you to use your mind. If you don't use your brain, you know, it starts to get lazy. And we have to do all the looking up. I mean, I knew nothing about gardening at all. That was the big joke of me starting this. So, you know, we want you to get learning now. And you're not learning the way we're doing it. You just said yourself, you're not learning.
You're more like the passenger going somewhere and not paying attention.
Right,
when the driver's
exactly.
going.
That's
I mean,
exactly what's
you
happening.
know, so
And
that-
at 4 hours a month, it's hard to be anything but that.
And especially
right.
when it's 2
Exactly.
hours every other week, you know, because it's just a little, it's too far away for people to show up or whatever more regularly. I understand that, but it's when people show up, they're kind of lost here, you know. And I would be too. I mean, geez, if I went over to Kevin's place, you know, I mean, I'd have to ask him. I mean, I'd be the dumb guy. I'd go over there and say, geez, Kevin, what do you know, can I help you? What do you want me to do? You know, I wouldn't know what to do either, you know. And if I was only there 2 hours every 2 weeks, I'd definitely be, you know, have a lot. But if I went over to Kevin's and said, Kevin, I'm going to take care of growing your squash for you. You know, don't you worry about it. I got it. You just give me a place to do it. You know what I mean? Don't worry about it. I
You know
got
where
it.
you planted it, and you know you become the expert on that. And you go online and say, I want to know everything there is to know about squash. And then when you feel like you have that done, and okay, squash is done. Okay, I'm ready to try another vegetable.
And we rotate.
Sign up for, and we'll rotate. And then you get to know each.
And then you
vegetable,
can teach
and then
other
you feel an
people,
expert.
you know, about what you learned about your vegetable, and then we can even have a recipe that, you know, at some point you get to make with your vegetable, you know, and like to expand the knowledge.
And we're still going to work together. We're still going to help each other. You know, it's not like if somebody.
You can't do it if you don't.
That's right. That's right. I mean, I think still, you know, people need to make an effort to, you know, to help their fellow man or whatever and all that kind of thing. But it's just, if there's a freeze coming, okay, I want somebody to have it in their head, I better get my stuff covered. Okay, that's my stuff I've got out there. Those are my babies, and I want to make sure that they don't freeze. Not, gee, I hope somebody covers the squash or we're not going to have any. Yeah, there's a big difference in the way that you perceive something. And that's
something we do want to do next year is any frost sensitive type plants are going to get planted in the same bed. We're going to order a piece of row cover that's going to go 600 feet and it's going to be at least 50 feet wide. And that's why we were talking about we want bamboo. Go ahead and get the thing, and that way we can just frost protection, put dirt on both sides, and we'll put heaters right inside there, and then we'll be covered. You know, but you know we're going to plan a little better next year. But I'm going to order the cover in the middle of the summer because you can't even get them right now. Everybody, you know, the guy can't make it fast enough. So it's, you know.
It's something else to keep in mind, just something to tell the group that we're kind of proud of. I just came back from up north of High Springs, and I had a very large, ugly piece of equipment up on that trailer in front of that wrecked truck, and it's the machine that pulls the plastic that we have the strawberries and tomatoes on across the stream. So we went ahead and sprung for that, and we've got it now. So whoever, if we're doing, we're not going to probably do everything on plastic, but there's a whole lot more things that can be done on plastic.
And it will do well.
And
And it'll save a lot of labor.
Oh, yeah.
That just saves massive amounts of weeding, you know. So
I was
Anybody else-
wondering why
anybody
you
sign
didn't
up on
use
this yet?
mulch.
Anybody else need this?
Why you don't mulch your plant?
we
I mean, I
have.
never weeded anything because I would 3 or 4 inches of mulch on it.
Well,
That's fine if you, where do you get the unlimited mulch? You know, it's
I
fine
had
when
like
you're in a square
17
foot
oak
garden.
trees and I used the leaves.
Yeah, but
we don't have 17 oak trees. I mean, I got that big pile of horse manure, but technically,
Straw.
I can't use that. And there's so much weed seed in there, you know, you put horse manure down, it
That
sprouts a
answers my
million
question.
things.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, Paul.
See, I think, I don't think individual persons taking care, taking care of an individual crop is really going to work well because most everybody's here once every 2 weeks. And if you take on one crop yourself, you're going to be out here all the time. You're going to drive yourself nuts. You're not going to be able to do it. But what you do is you get teams together. Say like the root crops, beets, carrots, potatoes. You get a team and make sure that somebody on the team is on the Saturday shift, the Sunday shift, the Tuesday shift. And then you have a team leader of that group, and they communicate amongst each other.
Okay.
'Cause they're only out here every 2 weeks. So I'm out here on Sunday, and I see everything. So I go to my other team member and says, whoever's out here Tuesday, we need to be weeding these or thinning these, and then next Sunday we're going to plant, things like that.
And maybe you
So-
have a law group with your team and, you know, just say, okay, next shift on your potato
And you can put it on the
shift.
board, or you can communicate through the website with the team.
We were going to make
What needs to be
vegetable
done.
pages like we have the work logs.
That's fine as long as
If you-
it just doesn't turn into this thing of hoping that someone else will do it or.
No, I think if you have teams, I think it does you do take some ownership, and okay, you're going to take care of the root crops. We're going to.
And that's kind of what we wanted to happen with the shift leader thing, but
Yeah,
that
yeah.
never really got happening. But this is
It's
why.
overwhelming when you have everything out here, and then
Yeah.
this is where I personally have to kind of step back, because what happens is because I combined my garden with your garden, it's like I have a little bit of, you know, it's like I want to make sure everything is successful, and, you know, so I'm trying to take too much control, but yet I can't keep up with it all, you know, as far as the seeding and all that kind of stuff, having enough for everybody, and
I think it'd be real important to spread the team out over the shifts so stuff gets done on a
Yeah,
timely
I was
basis,
thinking that
harvesting,
too.
Everything else. If everybody's taking care of root crop shows up on Sunday, then there's nobody back for 2 weeks.
Hey, do you want to try to organize this right now?
Well, I think, who, me, myself?
Yeah,
Or
like
as a
just
group?
say how you're seeing this should
Well, I'd say
go.
like the root crops. I would be interested in the root crops. I'd say it's beets, carrots, potatoes.
Right. Well,
All right, so
Right,
let's
and
start organizing this, and then we'll fine tune it.
No, and turnips. Let's not forget
and
turnips.
rutabagas.
And
all
rutabagas.
right. We had the question
And
over
then
here.
what you would
Who was it who wanted rutabagas? It was,
It was Ellen Maxon.
okay. She's
you
not
do
here
less
today.
turnips.
There has to be a couple experts.
She might come later. She had to do something.
Well,
Don't you think we need a couple experts on each team?
But I think you'd almost have to do
we
it.
don't have any experts.
We don't have any experts.
We don't have any experts.
We have a few. We have like
That's the
4.
reason why, if you're in a particular group, you only have maybe a couple vegetables that you're in charge of. Like she said, she'll go to the extension office, probably
So
pick
we're gonna
up,
become-
and we're gonna hand you flyers. You're gonna learn everything you need to know about your particular vegetable.
So we're going to become experts.
Yeah, and
I'm
it's,
an
there's
expert on
not.
your vegetable.
How do you think I learned?
Yeah, there's only 2 pages on each vegetable that you have to read.
I go online
It's
and look,
yeah, it's
you know,
nothing. But when you're trying to do it for all the vegetables, then it's a
I'm no
lot.
expert.
Okay.
I think what you have to do first, Susan, is divvy the crops into groups.
Well, how about
Whether
can
it's
you
like
do
the
this
cabbage
right now?
group Or the
Well,
root group, or the.
I sort of did.
Yeah.
I listed them all out here, and it's not perfect, but I basically
Well, here,
have
no,
things
seriously,
clumped
let's-
together.
And then who would be,
Well,
Here.
hang on, we're-
who would be
We're
interested
still
in,
taking questions there, but before we-
Okay.
Yeah, Susan, I mean, one of the things that both Paul and Lolly touched on was a time commitment. So, you know, it sounds idyllic the way Paul says, where on each team you've got somebody that can come out on a Tuesday, maybe a Thursday or Friday, and then on the weekend. Well, I don't know if you're going to be able to have teams where you then have people that have the freedom to come out during the
That's
week.
why we want to just start seeing how this is going to look. Like, just start with your idea right now. Like, let's actually physically start doing this right now.
Basically, it's the scheduling. And certain people can only work 4 hours a month. Other people
Work all day long, you know, I mean, once it starts
50 hours
staying later on
well,
at night,
you're not
daylight,
gonna have to
you can
work,
but
you're not gonna have to work all day long. I come out Sunday afternoons or Sunday mornings, so say I'm on the root crop group. We have to make sure that somebody else in the root crop group is on the Tuesday work shift. And you gotta work with somebody the following Saturday or Sunday, and
That's
somebody.
Well, that's what I'm
and-
talking about scheduling.
And some people may be signed. You
You
may
have-
wanna start with a sign up, okay, let's group these into
That's it.
10 groups.
You have to
And you want
first start out
someone-
with sign up. How many hours per week someone can. And
That's what I'm
will
saying.
work.
That's what this meeting is for. So let's
Okay,
start
so
doing
Paul,
that.
Paul, following up on your idea. So, Brian, how many groups of crops? The root crops, the ha-ha crops, what do we have?
I
8,
bet-
10 crops?
I'd say you could group these into 10. You could group melons, you could group, you could group all the cabbages together.
Okay.
You could group all the lettuces maybe into
All right, so
2.
if we have 10 groups, how many, we've got 60 shares, correct, Sue?
Approximately, yeah.
Okay.
So ideally would-
We've got 10 crops.
Beans and
or
peas
10
are that's
groups.
one.
We've got 60 shares that are gonna take responsibilities. That means we've got 6 shares per crop.
I would go to.
Roughly,
Does
roughly.
that sound about right?
Tomatoes probably ought to
So
be
that
by
would allow
themselves.
us
John
one
Harrington's
person
already spoken
basically
for
per
radishes,
week,
so that's
because
out.
We've got 5 work days.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen on our off week?
Beets, turnips,
This is
potatoes.
back to where the schedule.
Well, that's why the people that are on the schedules, you
Yeah,
got to
we're
get
not-
some of them interested.
It's gonna end up that we can't work every other week. It's gonna be, we're gonna have to work every week.
Yeah.
No, I think you could.
More time commitment.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Can't you have 2 groups
Okay.
on a crop?
All right. Following that logic, let me just run this out here. Following what Paul's saying here, we got strawberries. They sort of stand alone a little bit. We got all the squashes. I grouped them together in one group. Okay, yellow squash, zucchini, cucumbers, butternut squash, spaghetti squash.
Which aren't even going on now.
Which right? So this is some of the
that's
stuff. That's right. This so it's not all at once. Watermelon, cantaloupe, and honeydew. Of course, those are warm weather things. Okra. God help the guy who does okra. That's all by itself. That's like that's every other day picking okra, wearing your gloves and your long sleeves. Somebody ought to get a special award for doing that. Beans and peas.
Corn, you didn't.
Oh, sweet corn. That's sort of that's almost by itself again. I mean, that's a pretty attentive crop. Onions and herbs I kind of threw together. I mean, they're both pretty easy and they both have a lot of flavor. I don't know. Green peppers, hot peppers, tomatillas, eggplants, and tomatoes. I mean, those are all things that we're going to like stake and put on plastic and things like that.
green peppers and hot peppers,
Uh-huh.
there's cross-pollination, your green peppers are gonna be hot.
Okay, well, I didn't say we're going to grow them all in the same place.
I know.
Okay.
Do not
Radishes,
plant them
John
together.
Harrington has already said he's doing radishes. Nobody else gets to do radishes. That's it. Don't mess with his radishes. All right?
Except I'm saying, you know, to get them stored all the time, he's going to need helpers. If, you know, it won't be,
Yeah.
unless he's going to come out every day and stock that cooler with radishes.
Well, yeah. Anyway, when I ran this idea past John, he said, hey, I'll do radishes.
But they don't need that much care. It's just that somebody's got to be in charge of keeping the cooler stocked.
Other root crops, which radishes are not part of, we have beets, turnips, potatoes, rutabagas, and if we want to play around with kohlrabi. Well, if we want to play around with rutabagas too, it's the last two we've never have grown yet. Leafy green stuff, we got Swiss chard, kale, collards, mustards, cabbage, and I even put broccoli in with them, even though you don't eat the green part, but it still kind of grows the same way. Lettuce, we got bagged lettuce, we got head lettuce. Those are both pretty big groups just by themselves. And we can break these down further. And I also did specialty greens, be like chicory or arugula, escarole, mustards, and nasturtium. You know, a lot of that kind of goes in with the mixed lettuce.
Dandelion you don't have in there either, do you? Dandelion.
Actually, you put mustards in 2 places, so maybe
Yeah, no, I did.
cross the
No, I
mustards
did.
out and put dandelion there.
Okay. Anyway, so I mean, we can work this around a number of different ways here, but
We can group it differently.
And there's a thing called like ropes. If anybody's heard of like these team training things, has anybody heard of that? The behavioral, yeah, where like you have a team and you got to figure out how to accomplish your goal, and it's team building strengths. So even today, that's why I'm saying, let's see you get whoever wants to start organizing this, and it's not so much that we can't put something like this together, but I want more people more involved.
Well, Sue, can we ask how many people here can up their commitment to coming every 2 weeks, to coming every week? Because
We can
kind of what
start
it's looking
grouping
like, right?
people. We can start saying, stand over here. If you can only come 4 hours, stand over here.
What's that?
I was saying we can start grouping groups. Like this is a 4-hour only. That's all I can come group.
Okay.
This is somebody who wants to be a vegetable group leader. This is, and start lining yourselves up instead of, that's one way to start the organization process.
So I have a question. Is there still going to be a minimum number of hours per month the whole growing season, or is this going to change?
My idea is, well, we could have a non-working CSA, but what's the point? You can go over to the store and just buy the stuff, so what the heck's the difference? So I'd like to keep it where people are still involved in this. Maybe they'll be, working members, they're sort of semi-working members. I mean, they're good people that are willing to help, you know what I'm saying? And I think there's going to be a lot of people that probably fit into that category. But we also need the real working members that are really going to shoulder the responsibility of making sure that these different things happen.
And their motivation is because they want to learn. Learning is a motivation. How much do you want to learn? What do you have to
And
say?
maybe that's the team leaders or
Well,
something.
why not just leave the schedule as it is, but then just make sure that at least twice a week, every vegetable has had something done.
Who's going to make sure?
There will be somebody
Okay.
at least twice a week. So it's what you're responsible for that's
Okay.
changing, not the schedule, because that's a major headache.
Right, no.
If people can do more, I wouldn't mind doing
I wouldn't
more.
change the schedule.
But that is, that's just a big
We set our lifestyles over the
crazy
schedule.
mess to try to get into.
I was thinking about this a lot after Susan sent her email, and so being a teacher, I'm always making them data sheets. And so I sat down and did a CSA planting, growing, and harvesting instructions so that we could have something like this for every vegetable.
Okay.
And where it's located, what the directions are for planting, because sometimes you actually broadcast the seed, and sometimes they had to be individual. And then the main, how often do they need to be weeded? Do they need to be thinned? Watering instructions, things like that. Harvesting, I don't know how to harvest certain
these are
things.
good.
Yeah.
And then packaging for sale and distribution, because I know certain things have to be weighed
Yeah.
because of the organic status of the farm.
Right.
And then this could go like in a
Yeah,
in a
that's
notebook
good. That's
with a
good
tab
for each vegetable.
for each
That's what we
vegetable.
wanted to do, a notebook for each vegetable with
Okay,
a
and then
tab.
the work log for whatever crop, the date, the name and how to get in touch with that person, and the activity that you did. And it doesn't have to be spaced. They can just
Yeah,
draw a line.
yeah. This
And
is what we
then-
wanted done, so
Okay.
that's great.
I have it on my computer. I'll send it to
Definitely.
you. There you go.
Excellent.
There you go.
Okay.
I just have to.
Well, if you take all the vegetables and divide them in half somehow, you've got your groups, but then divide all that in half. Then on Monday and Wednesday you do the A vegetables, so to speak. So all those people are in groups for 15. They've got all their vegetables those days, and then Tuesday and Thursday, because in order to. I mean, if you're not harvesting, it doesn't matter so much. But if you're harvesting, you've got to harvest at least every other day, or you're going to run out. I would think.
See, you're thinking already, Sherry.
So I think
And
that
one of the things
you
we're
get
finding
attention.
is it right at this point of the season we're spending all our time harvesting and no time seeding.
So now we're
You know
not
what I
having
mean?
anything.
This is what
We're
this
not
is
gonna
the
have
problem.
anything
It's like okay, we're running out of product.
But everybody on Monday and Wednesday of every week is working on the same thing, and everybody on Tuesday and Thursday of every week is working on the same thing, so that everything gets close attention at least twice a week. Yeah.
Well, that's how it should be for every vegetable, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. For
Okay.
that would include every vegetable.
I personally still think it'll work best if somebody feels like, this is my broccoli, I want to.
Well, I'm not saying, no, they're still gonna get, but they're gonna have, it's gonna be probably more than one thing. It's gonna be several things that they have to look at on Monday and Wednesday. You know, a Tuesday, Thursday, I'm a Tuesday person, but I'm only here. Right.
We tried to be as even as we could.
Yeah. But yeah, if you have somebody comes out, you have a broccoli person or a cabbage person that's out on Tuesday, Thursday,
Right.
or Sunday, and they oversee that. And I think you still have to put in your minimum time, because if you're on squashes right now, there's no squashes out there, but somebody's
right,
gonna
you
need
have a
help with lettuces, or somebody's gonna clean
Yeah,
up
so you'd have a
something else.
Monday, Wednesday.
It's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So that it is on every
It's
other
still
day.
4 days.
Yeah, we tried to not have it more than 2 days.
You don't change people's shifts around, no, you just kind of match it with that crop on the shift.
Yeah, that's
do
what I'm
that?
saying. Don't change the
That's
shifts.
the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's just as long
Unless
as,
people, and if somebody says, you know, I would like to work more, then let them do that, and I'll be happy. I wouldn't mind working every day. I like it a lot.
And you know what you almost could do, Susan, at this point, it doesn't sound like anybody's really wedded to any certain vegetables. Except for Molly, she wants to do peppers.
Hey, I'll do anything, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you could almost assign everybody on each shift. Okay, this group's gonna, you're gonna take care of these 3 or 4 groups of crops on this shift. So everybody starts learning from that process. You're not gonna do it for the rest of your life. You're gonna do it for one crop season, and then because of seasonality, we're gonna get off some crops because we're not gonna grow those earlier. Maybe almost assign it right now, and then try to get a couple team leaders that would work with those people. Everybody might want to do broccoli, so everybody signs up for broccoli, and nobody signs up for mushrooms.
yeah, we're gonna wind up having an arm wrestle for some of these crops.
Well,
Whatever
Paul,
we want to
following
do.
up on that, what about if we take the groups that we've got, the work days and the work shifts that we've got? And like, okay, I'm a Tuesday person, I'm supposed to be the Tuesday shift leader. So I get Sherry and Paula who are on my shift, and so I'm gonna do peppers, and Sherry's gonna do tomatoes, and Paula's gonna do potatoes, and so my question is, we'll look at this book and see, okay, what needs to be done, and all right, so we're in the harvesting time, so we're not planting, so we know that she doesn't have to worry about planting, that she's got 4 weeks before she needs to plant anything else. But 4 weeks sounds like a long time, but she's only here twice in that 4 weeks. That's where I'm concerned.
But then
But
on the Thursday group or the Saturday group, you have
There'll be
somebody that's in
another-
charge of peppers,
Okay.
and somebody's in charge of tomatoes. That's what you're gonna have to do, and I think you're almost gonna have to sign it right now, Susan,
Okay.
until unless somebody
It's still
really
just-
wants to do a vegetable.
It still makes me nervous, and I'll tell you why. It's a it's a little bit like, it's not a bad idea. I'm not trying to put it down, and I understand for scheduling reasons and everything. It's just, if we have 4 people all owning the same car, and on Mondays I drive it and Tuesdays you drive it, who changes the oil? It's just.
It's on the scheduled maintenance. I mean,
Well, yeah.
otherwise you can't have one person in charge, because who can come out
Right.
2,
You'd
3
have to come
times a
out.
week?
Well, that's what I'm asking. That's the first thing I wanted to know
I
was,
can't.
are there people
Not this
who
time of
want
year.
to take on more time and be these here crop managers, as I was picturing? And if there isn't, then we'll spread it around.
Well, it would be harvesters only that would have to do that then, right? Because,
No.
weeds don't have to be pulled every other day. Things don't have to be planted every other day necessarily, but harvesting,
Well,
that has
you
to be done a lot.
You gotta
Well, you
water,
gotta just
you
vigilance.
gotta fertilize, you gotta.
Well, watering would stay the same, right?
Water
On the drip line?
Watering's,
Watering
yeah.
is just kind of get done all at once.
Also, I think we need to understand from the get-go that 4 hours a month is not enough time
That's the
for
key
one
right
share to come
That's
out
it.
here and work. You need
Yeah,
more
that's-
hours
that's the
in the
key.
field
That's it.
than you're getting. I mean, no
See,
matter
now
what,
you're
this is
getting it.
That
That's
is the
what's
bottom
happening
line.
right now. 4 hours is not enough to run this.
People have got to
It is
understand.
initially, but when we're harvesting things, the time load to be able to keep up with the planting and the seeding, you are short on time.
It's-
You're
You know, and
absolutely right.
unless we've got a group of people who are willing to give more time or can give more time,
Right.
then we really need to think about it.
See, this is already, it's working. See, you're already thinking the way
The only thing I don't want to have happen, okay, if we're growing tomatoes, okay, now there's everybody has different opinions on how tomatoes should be grown. We're going to have four different people growing tomatoes. You understand what I'm saying? So now on this here bus, we're all trying to pull the steering wheel different ways. I mean, it just, I want this to work, you know, and
Of course, yeah.
but it just, let's make sure that, I don't know, there has to be an agreement on how it's going to be done between these people that are in charge of this crop or
Well,
something here.
I mean, everything started out like Val says very well, but
When there was no
the load has
harvesting.
become bigger.
Well, it gets
as-
right. It increases as you get into the season because now we got to
Now
take
the
care of what's out
workload
there.
is bigger. We don't have the hands and the time
Well,
and the hours.
people are losing interest because I don't know.
Well,
in the beginning, it was exciting.
I'm not losing interest, but I've become somewhat disenchanted.
Okay, well that's what we're trying to get around here. You know.
Because I feel that I come out here and I give more than my time that I'm allowed, that I'm supposed to give. Okay, I'm not looking for anything except that's me. But then I feel like, where did everything go? There's nothing in the cooler. I mean.
Yeah.
That's why we're saying we got to make a
So I go
change.
over there and nothing there.
That's why we're having the meeting. That's why we're having the meeting. It's not working.
I got some turnips over
I'm
here.
sick of turnips, guys. I've got turnips up to here.
And okay, so let me ask you, Donna.
Okay,
No, wait. Let me ask Donna now. Now that you said that, because that is the problem, whose fault is it?
Oh, well, I agree that it's, I won't say that it's our fault. I think this was something that wasn't foreseen in the planning stage. And I think
Well,
that we need.
it's just a learning process.
Probably did,
Yeah, I don't feel-
idea that we're in a learning curve here. We have got to learn what we're doing. This is all
So you're saying there are people,
trial and error.
and you're also saying that there are people that just plain and simple because it wasn't going their way, packed up their toys and left.
Well, they're
there's a little
becoming
bit of that.
disenchanted.
They're there's
I'm not packing up my toys and leaving.
No, I mean, that's it. So can we?
some of the shifts are getting
Okay, we're
lighter.
halfway through, and what we need to do is tell people it's not working the way it is. So we need to regroup. So what we need to find out is, are we able to commit versus 4 hours a month? Are we able to commit 8 hours a month to make this thing work? And is it strictly a time factor, or like what Brian's saying, do we have to redirect the bus as opposed to just getting more people to pull the bus forward? Do we need to go in a new direction? This is the question.
That's why we're having the meeting.
Will increased hours solve our problem?
No,
Let's start.
It may take some more time than is being put in, but I don't think just demanding that people come out here more and put in more hours is the whole answer.
It's going to work. Okay.
Well,
gotta
that's
take
not
the
all of it.
commitment.
Do you think you would learn more just doing the same thing more often?
No, but the question is if we were here every week, would the things that it sounds like Brian and Val are saying that aren't getting done, would that get done by having more of a time commitment?
Would you be learning faster?
It would help if people were just here every week because you're more familiar with it and you're not away for quite so long.
Okay,
'Cause
well,
if people knew
since our last get together, you know that Bruce and I have been coming out at least once to twice every week, and no, we're not learning more. So,
See?
Okay, well there you go.
And when you don't learn, that keeps the workload over here to tell you what to do. But if you learned, that would take off the workload of telling you what to do.
Okay, so I think one of the things that we probably need to emphasize is that we need to stop looking at Brian and Val to teach us, and this is going to have to be a self-taught, which I don't think that's.
Well, I don't mind answering questions and doing things like that, but it's just the difference of it's instead of people feeling like they need to show up and like it's someone else's garden and what should I do because I'm here to help, but I don't want to screw something up. You know, and I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing, and I really don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not trying to blame anyone.
No,
but
and
it's
I
just
think
a
that's
different
what
way
we
of
all
looking at it, where, you know, when you lay your head on the pillow at night, you're kind of thinking a little bit. I wonder how much. I better get out there tomorrow because I need to check on that. And I just want to get. That's just part of farming. Terry.
I think if we had a work log in the notebook for every vegetable, that sometimes for me it's easier to come out on a Wednesday afternoon after school or a Friday. It's not always convenient Sunday afternoon for me to come out or Sunday morning, and I'm only 2 miles away when I'm at school. I'm 12 miles away when I'm at home.
Okay.
So, if we had a log for every vegetable and everybody was really good about entering everything they did for that vegetable, the date, and how to get in touch with you, an email, a phone number, or something, then I could come out on a Monday afternoon and just check everything out and just say, check so-and-so, looks good, enough in the cooler, whatever, make a comment. there.
We have a
And
website
then that
for
way we can always,
communicating back
nobody
and forth.
uses the website.
Nobody
uses the
I,
website.
I think what you're talking about, Terry, we've already tried to do that, and it's just.
Where?
We have on the
we
work
got
logs, it says,
Mark
what
created
did the
that
shift
blog.
accomplish, and nobody's writing that in.
I write it in every time I come out here. I
Well,
write
we
it in.
we have the work logs.
then
You
you're
can
doing
see
the
the
right
blank
thing, but
I know,
pages.
but
it's
do it on the
not-
vegetables that we're actually taking care of. If we're going to change the focus, let's have a section within the notebook that's for broccoli. And if I'm working on broccoli and I come out here on a Monday afternoon and I do some weeding and I harvest a certain amount or whatever, then then I write it down.
How do we know to work on broccoli?
Because we're going to be researching our vegetables, so that we know what. So that, no, I'm just saying if I was doing broccoli, I would be researching. I would, yeah.
Yeah, as long as it's a small enough
That's kind of
group.
a combination of what.
As
both you
long
guys
as it's
are
a
saying.
small enough group to where it's not this feeling of somebody will get it kind of a thing, because it's between us right here, between the four of us, we got to make sure that this job gets done. That'll work too. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I like his idea, and I think Ryan, and his idea is your idea, that basically what we need, we have the big CSA group and we're trying to grow all these plants with all these people, and we're too scattered. We need mini CSAs within our group, and that mini CSA, which is a group of say 6 or 8 people, is growing tomatoes. They do their own scheduling. You can't have the overall group scheduling hours, how many hours you put in, how many you're supposed to put in. That's within the individual group to decide that. And if tomatoes
to
need
know
to
one
be,
another, they communicate with
Right.
one another.
You need
and
to
that's
get-
what
So,
they're doing.
the larger group needs to just have an overall view of what's going on, like Brian and Valerie and Susan, and say, they walk through and they see, okay, tomatoes need such and such attention. You call the group leader and say, you guys are doing great, but you need to do this. And then he schedules, or her, the leader of that group says, okay, can you go out on Wednesday? I can't make it. No, I can't, but I can go on Thursday. Okay, that'll be good. That's delegating the responsibilities within the smaller group and not having you guys trying to run the big group.
That'll work.
But the
Maybe
total
have
hours.
them frequently, once in a
That's
while,
what we
you guys
tried
can
to
walk
do,
down
but
and
yeah.
check on us and see if there's some suggestions you could make.
That's what he's just saying.
A little bit.
The total hours per crop has to vary with the crop. You know, you say lettuce takes more time. Well, that group has to.
It's gonna be a bigger group for some crops.
If we're seriously screwing up, you can tell us before it becomes a disaster, you know?
If the group doesn't
Yeah.
have anything to do in their plan, they can say, look, we got free time, does anybody in another
Well,
group need
that-
some
that'd
help?
be
So we
great.
could go
Or if
through and
another
say,
group
folks,
needs
you're
some
chewing
help,
on
they
your
can put out
crop,
the
you need
alarm,
to
we
spray
some
'em.
help.
And we can advise on what to spray as well, you know, we're not gonna just let
I'm not a
people just
sprayer.
stand there.
Yeah,
with their
you're not
face
getting
down.
tested on this where we're not going to tell you the answers till it's over.
Yeah, right.
So how are they?
But just
I told you
Besides,
so.
an organic garden is a different kind of a garden too. We're doing everything the hard way
Yep.
in the organic garden.
We've made
In order
sure we
for it
do
to
it
be
the hard
healthy-
way.
No, we have to do it the hard way. We
Yep.
can't depend on chemicals and machines.
We're gonna cheat and use a little
It's
plastic,
hands-on
but
stuff, yeah. But that's
Yep.
the whole point.
okay.
So what I'm seeing is a need for a lot of communication flowing within the team. And then there's got a leader, and then probably an alternate leader too. So for example, if you're on my team, you need to take off for a month or whatever, that somebody knows
covering
what's
for you.
going
Okay.
on.
Yep,
And
yep.
So it's a shared responsibility between 2 people instead of just one person all the whole time.
So we
taking it.
need 10 groups, 10 share groups.
Well, let's
per-
start
per
breaking
the
it down
garden
and
to
see
be
how that works
successful.
out. I mean,
10
it's
to start with.
we can arbitrarily move that around
Well,
any
we gotta
number of
begin
ways.
somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. Well. Oh well.
What do you guys have to say? I just
wish
want
we
to
had
hear.
everybody
Wait, I
here
want to
all
hear
at
from Patrick and Sandra.
Well, that's gonna be your problem, not always gonna be right.
Well, I got 2 things to say. I mean, one is, 10 groups. Okay, you're saying we have 60 shareholders. How many of those 60 shareholders are active?
How many people actually are coming
How many people are working?
We need to know that.
Half of that?
1, 2, 3, 4,
All right, so
5,
if you got half.
I have all the work numbers. I have them all added up for October, November, December, and January.
So if you only got half of the people working, so now you've got 30 shareholders doing the work. So So maybe instead of breaking
You know what it
into
was? A third of the people didn't fulfill their 4-hour requirement so far. A
Is
third.
it that much?
A third.
Well, so my point is that I think we need to break into the number of teams that are going to, you know, with the number of people that are going to be required.
Like, because
to raise
you're
the
saying
crop.
you
maybe we can't, maybe we can't raise everything we're raising now. So maybe we have, instead of 10 teams, maybe we have 6 teams.
Yeah, we could
And we raise what we can raise with 6 teams.
Yeah, but you know, you got to remember, turnips isn't taking any time. We planted 1 row of turnips, we were done with turnip. Turnip came and they went and they were gone within 40 days.
And there's some of these things
Yeah,
that are,
you know,
that are summer things too that we're not even doing right now. You know, and there's other things that are already in the field that just need to be kept up. Well, you know, for instance, tomatoes. You know, I mean, tomatoes is a big do, except they're already there and starting to produce. It just would be nice to have somebody or a small group of people really making sure that tomatoes are all that they should be.
We'll finish up, Patrick, because you said that was one.
Yeah, the other one is I agree with you, Lolly, that I think the bottom line is that we have to increase our time commitment. And I'm okay with that. I'm good with doubling my time. I'm not good with coming out here 2 or 3 times a week. I can't do that. But I'm definitely game for increasing the time that I work here. I just, you know, there's a limit to how much more time. Sure. What about you, Sam?
I agree. I like how it's going. I like the idea of breaking it into groups and having sort of mini CSAs.
Well, because the other day we talked about like forming the group you want to be working with. That was the other way to do it. Instead of us assigning based on work shifts, it's like, let's say this group here, they all work together at work in real life, and they all wanted to work together in real life on their vegetable because they know each other already.
They can communicate better.
Yeah, and exactly.
We need other people too, because we work the same job. We can't coming in during the week is hard for all of us. Whereas we might be able to pull
Okay,
people
so I just
outside.
wanted to know if you, wanted to, you know.
I like the idea of you. I'd rather us be able to. I'd like to have a sign up sheet for vegetables, so you get people that are actually interested in making, growing that vegetable rather than
being assigned.
And then you can rotate as season change
Where is that
too,
sheet?
and that
Well-
we learn.
But if we get any slackers,
No, this one, they signed up today to say what they wanted.
Oh, okay.
And who's here. Here, look at that. There, it goes on the other side. See what that
Right.
was.
Patrick, they're out, right?
Steve wants broccoli. Where's Steve?
I have one point. Patrick's bringing up a good point. So if there's 6 people on a team, but then the leader calls them up and 2 or 3 people either don't show up or are not
Flog
willing to make a commitment, then the team's got to work around that or come
See,
back
and what's
say,
happening here with all your thoughts that you're saying, you're thinking like, now you're thinking the way we've had to be thinking, and that's what we want. We want to transfer you guys thinking, hey, this isn't enough hours. Oh, what if the people don't show up? I mean, this is what's happening. So we want to break it down into smaller groups so you each see, hey.
I think that what you'll find if you set it up this way, I think what you'll find is the people will more likely, because hey, my group's counting on me, they're more likely to show up. It's sort of like you agree to meet somebody at a certain time or
If they
whatever.
don't want to, then they should just go ahead and leave.
Well,
If
I mean, that's
somebody
just
behind
it.
you doesn't show up, I go and pick them up.
But I think
Depends how you be here, and then you start cutting out on me. I'm not
See, already the responsibility is shifting off of our shoulders, and you're seeing what this is real life. Yeah.
Well, if
we had an old saying in upstate New York, it's, what, go get off the pot. Either make your commitment or go.
Yeah, but what's your recourse for
See?
you know,
They're
if
already
Ralph or
thinking.
Janet doesn't want to show up and do their work? What's your course of
well,
action?
what we started by doing was docking them bunny bucks.
Or we were saying you don't get the vegetables as available.
Well, you don't get as many vegetables because you don't have as many bunny bucks.
Yes, Terry.
Just kidding. He's hilarious. I don't trust him though. He keeps reaching for my shoulder, and I think he'll make me some new holes in my ears. If you can't show up, I'm a single parent and I work full time, and it's sometimes I can't come when I'm scheduled to come.
Yeah, because you're grading
And I
papers all
always-
night.
Yeah, I was grading them till midnight last night. So no, but I mean, if I can't come, I can tell. I can contact and say I can't come, but I can come Monday afternoon and do something. So just leave me a little note or a call. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely want to have a vegetable log. That's a new notebook we are going to create.
We're
Yeah.
out of the country again in March. You know, what are you gonna do? We're gonna be gone.
That's why you'll need teams. That's why you can't have an individual.
I know for me personally, I don't care what vegetables I work on, and I'm more than willing to give more hours. My issue is, I can't say like every Tuesday and Thursday I'll be here. I just need to be put on a team that understands, yeah, I'll come 4 hours consecutively or whatever. I just can't commit with all the other things in my life to saying I'm always free on Tuesday, I'm always free on Thursday. But more hours, I would be happy to help in that way.
It seems to me if you're on a team, you could be a little more flexible in your hours.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
you
why
know
I
what your
liked your idea the way
responsibility's
you
gonna
said
be.
that.
Yeah.
You know you're gonna be charging
Because
the
that
tomato
happens
group.
to everybody, but if you do have other members that can back up what it is that you're responsible for.
Well, it doesn't matter when you come out as long as the work gets done. I mean, that's the bottom line here. Where you know,
I love that.
the produce doesn't much care when you come.
That's right.
I think
I
hopefully
think it
that
would
will
be helpful if each, if the teams met physically the first time and get to know each other a little bit.
Oh, it's gonna
I
have
don't
to.
even
You
know
have to.
most of
And
the
you
people.
got to, the team almost have to meet and decide, okay, this is where our vegetables going, and, you know, we might have to
We
give
need,
a little
like,
guidance
signs that
where you're going
say
to plant next.
your
you know.
vegetables, so you can
'Cause
go
that might
stand
be the
behind your
next thing. Okay,
vegetable
I need
and
X amount of
form
feed,
your
you
group
know,
right now.
for my next planting.
And,
you know, and it's
I
got to
mean,
be
you need to
prepped
plan
and ready.
ahead. You need to let us know when we have to start planting the seeds to get the transplants ready. You gotta count how long is it gonna take to come.
Exactly. And this is
That's,
where
that's
each
all.
group has to be
And,
responsible.
and each group also has to be thinking, how much do I have to plant? Okay, we don't want to overplant the heck out of everything because we can't devote a whole bed, you know.
And we
to
could share
broccoli.
our experience because we didn't know
Sure.
that in the beginning, but now we do.
Yeah, now we're starting to see about how much space it takes for different things. So we don't want to go crazy and overplant and waste a bunch of seed, you know.
Yeah, and I have real lifetime of when was something planted, when did it come up, how long did it last. I have recorded that on everything we've done.
Information is important.
Yeah,
because
so
every
we will.
geographic area
We
is
just
different.
want to now have you specialize and disseminate this information, so it's not us taking care of the whole entire thing. Which is why we had the shift leaders, which is why we started out having the shift leaders meet their shifts and get together, and then the shift leader is supposed to communicate, and we just really didn't do that. It just didn't happen.
Sometimes shift leaders don't show up, you know, and that's kind of where
So
that
then,
went.
okay, so you're asking, so basically you're going to be replacing a quote shift leader with a group leader.
With a vegetable
With a
crop.
vegetable group. Or vegetable.
No, we don't want any